This is a community note. And these are community note contributors. X has over 100,000 of these noters, and other platforms are following suit. Mark Zuckerberg is using them to replace fact-checkers on Facebook and Instagram. And Google is using community notes to add context to YouTube videos and search results. But how did this bottom-up technology win the fact-checking battle of the internet? If mass participation and algorithms helped create fake news, polarization, and misinformation, how does a system that also relies heavily on mass participation and algorithms actually fix it? This is the magic of community notes. When social media exploded in the mid-2000s, its instant gratification and frictionless posting rewarded quick, emotional engagement that amplified divisive content. People stopped seeing their Aunt Jenny's posts about the church potluck and began seeing whatever this is. With 5.5 billion people spending on average over 2 hours daily on social media, how can we tell what's true anymore? The knee-jerk solution was to empower gatekeeping journalists as fact-checkers, or even fully embrace censorship like China, or use state power to coerce platforms, as we saw during the Biden administration. But Twitter's founder Jack Dorsey had a different idea. What if we could take Wiki's collaborative verification and combine it with social media's pace and scale? Unlike Wikis, the new model wouldn't require users to replace or edit posted content through lengthy discussions. They would simply add context without disrupting the platform's flow. Jack's team created this algorithm and called it Birdwatch. You can think of Birdwatch as the smaller testing phase of community notes. The crowdsourced fact checks were not initially available on Twitter's main feed, but on a separate Birdwatch site. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, he renamed Birdwatch to Community Notes, but kept the algorithm and relaunched it in November 2022. Community notes make sure no singular point of view dominates the conversation, so they start with a diverse pool of users. That kind of political diversity, which social media platforms can reach, is key here. But diversity is not enough. Community note contributors have to have an active record on the platform to rate or write notes so that angry mobs can't just create dozens of new accounts to game the system. Then, when a new note is submitted, other creators rate it as helpful or not helpful. For example, this post, which featured a fake tweet from Donald Trump about altcoins, was flagged by community notes. As an X user, I was able to rate the tweet helpful and explain why. The rating system created a mechanism for users to express and explain themselves. So far, so good. However, if Twitter just relied on simple ratings, they'd face the same polarization problem they were trying to solve. Imagine if notes were shown based purely on having the most helpful votes. What would happen? Conservative users would upvote conservative-friendly notes. Progressive users would upvote progressive-friendly notes. The most popular notes would simply reflect which political group had more users engaging with the platform at that moment. The majority would always win, and the minority perspective would be silenced. So how do you design a system that breaks through polarization rather than reinforcing it? The answer lies not in the ratings themselves, but in understanding the patterns behind who agrees with whom. This is where community notes gets clever. Users who consistently rate the same notes as helpful or unhelpful get mathematically grouped together. This happens automatically. No one manually labels users as progressive or conservative. The algorithm simply detects patterns in rating behavior. This function is especially useful regarding topics where users don't just disagree about conclusions, but the facts surrounding an issue, like election integrity or vaccines. For a note to be displayed publicly, it must achieve something remarkable. It needs to be rated as helpful by people who normally disagree when rating other notes. A comment that's too biased won't bridge the polarization divide. In this way, community notes contains a bias filtering machine. Those posts about election integrity or vaccines are usually left alone unless they are so patently false that people on both sides can agree to a note being added. As Elon Musk explains,
people who historically have disagreed on a subject must agree in order for a note to be shown. That's the essential magic of it.
The system continuously refines its correlation groups as users rate more and more posts. The top performers, the quiet influencers of community notes, aren't engagement farmers or fact-checkers with a hidden agenda. They are consensus builders. Traditional fact-checking relies on credentials, degrees, institutions, professional positions. Community notes uses something different: reputation. The system tracks which contributors consistently write notes that receive broad agreement. These contributors gain more influence not because of who they are, but because of how helpful their contributions have proven to be. This shifts authority from institutional credentialism to demonstrated helpfulness. The beauty of this system: no one controls it, not governments, corporations, or even the platform managers themselves. And it works across every domain of human knowledge. Of course, no system is perfect. Community Notes faces real challenges. It can be slow, allowing misinformation to spread before notes appear. It necessitates enough contributors with diverse viewpoints, something platforms might not achieve on every topic. And in the age of AI, there's always the risk that the system will become too fragile to withstand a new generation of bots. Then, there's always the risk of the platform owner getting frustrated with the system and wanting to break it. Even with its issues, Community Notes represents a profound shift in how we determine the sources of online truth. From centralized fact-checkers deciding for everyone to decentralized technologies where consensus emerges from diverse perspectives. This can be how we build the next generation of the internet. And if the decentralized revolution runs its course, polarizing content loses its power to divide us. We can move back to having a stronger marketplace of ideas and regain trust in our shared information ecosystem. Critical thinking will always remain our responsibility. No system can replace it, but Community Notes is the boldest attempt to tackle online truth without censorship or gatekeepers. Let's hope it's not the last. What has your experience been with Community Notes? Has it made you trust information more or less? Do you think there's a better way to handle content moderation? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe and visit fee.org.